All right, so the recording's on now. I'll record every session for this course, so you have access to see it later time. There's still people coming in, and then I'll introduce myself, and we'll have a conversation about the course. 3 more, I think. As of last night, there were 36 in this class. Pretty big class. It's like I see somebody in their car. Brian. Hopefully you're not driving, Brian. Maybe you should pull off to the side.
Oh, like COVID testing.
What is that? I didn't hear you. I think you may have trouble.
I'm on my way back to my house from COVID testing.
Oh, from COVID testing. Okay. All right. Well, it's a good thing you
It's just fine.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay, and there won't be too many interruptions.
Yep.
All right. So I guess we'll get started. My name is Professor Mark Barish, and I've been teaching at Rowan for about 5 years. I've been teaching statistics, this course, and also statistical literacy. Those are the 2 courses I've been teaching. The statistical literacy used to be called elementary statistics, but they changed the name about a year ago. I did not teach this course last semester, taught just statistical literacy. So there has been a little bit of a change in this course, a new textbook and things like that. So I'm in the process of developing the course to get it to the way I would like. So there's a little bit of delay in posting things on Canvas, but part of it has to do with the conversation we're going to have today about what you can afford to purchase course, and also because this is going to be a remote course for the entire semester, makes it for some people, not for everyone, it's for some people a little bit more difficult to manage it. But you're all here, so, and I did teach successfully last semester, a completely remote course, and it worked just fine. I think most students were pleased with the way it came out. So I'm one of those people that actually likes teaching remotely. I know a lot of professors don't, but I do. So hopefully that will rub off on you, and you'll have a good experience this semester. So I have been developing the syllabus. I'm almost done, but I do want to get your opinion on a couple things so that I can modify it and then post it. All right. So I'm not quite done just because of that, for that reason. So what I'm going to do is share the syllabus that I have so far. Then I'll go through what I'm thinking, and then you can tell me in terms of affordability. Some of you can share how you feel about this. This type of course can get quite expensive for some people. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it, make sure that this is not unaffordable. All right. Let me see what I have here. Oh, this is the wrong course. So this is the wrong syllabus, so sorry. This is for my other course. So let me pull the other one up. There we go. Okay, so let me share that with you. All right. Everybody can see this? Maybe give a thumbs up that you can see this. Okay, good. Thank you. A couple I don't see everybody on my screen, but I see a couple of you. So, all right. So this course is I should change actually this name in here. It says statistical literacy. I should say statistics 1. So that's why I need to modify these things, because when I actually go through them, I realize that I made some errors in here. So it says stat 02260. It's statistics 1, not statistical literacy, as it shows here. Section 5. We will be meeting at this time on Mondays and Wednesdays using Zoom. All right, there is a Zoom feature in Canvas, which I'm using. And I will be recording this every Zoom session like I'm doing now on my computer. And therefore I can post this later in the day. You can always watch it again. All right, and that'll be true for any session that we have. There are also some pre-recorded videos that I used last semester that might be applicable later on in this semester for this course that I will also post that might be useful for future topics. Now, this again is a standard course in statistics, introductory course in statistics. It is comparable to what you would see in a AP statistics course in high school. It's on that level, about the same level, same topics, and using somewhat the same technology. Because this is remote, I'm going to offer a couple, an additional technology this semester, which might be useful to some of you. Maybe some of you might even be interested in having it, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, what's covered in this semester is some basic ideas from statistics, graphs, how to represent data with graphs, the different types of graphs. We're not going to cover every type of graph, but just some of the most useful ones. There's a topic called frequency distributions. These are tables which count the number of people in different categories. We're going to talk about how to create these types of distributions and also how to graph them. Measures of central tendency and variability. These are the mean, the median, the mode, things called the range, standard deviation, variance, things like that. There's other things that are in the course, such as what's called the central limit theorem. Don't worry about it. It's not a heavy math theorem. It's just a theorem that talks about something in very general terms, so I think anybody can understand it. And then later in the course, we'll talk about some more technical ideas that probably none of you have seen before unless you took statistics before. And these are called confidence intervals, hypothesis tests, and correlation. All right. Now, this course doesn't go into great detail in many of these topics. However, you're being asked to use technology to help you calculate things. Okay, so technology is going to play a role. One of the things that's traditionally used in this course is a graphing calculator. All right. Now, some of you may have a graphing calculator already from maybe your high school days. All right. And let me see here. Oh, here it is. All right. There we go. I was looking where the arrow was here. There we go. By the way, before I continue, this is my email address, barish@rowan.edu. However, once this course is set up, hopefully it'll be set up within the next couple of days from the next session. I'll have it absolutely ready to go. You'll be communicating with me through Canvas. There's an email system there. I get the emails through Canvas. And that's a preferable way for me to communicate with you because I get all sorts of emails at Rowan, many of which are useless to me. And if you send me an email directly to barish@rowan.edu, which you can do now, by the way, but I would recommend starting next week not to do that. It'll get, I may not see it because I don't always look at those emails. I might check once a day or once every other day there, but I check all the time in Canvas. So please communicate with me through Canvas, and you can do that today if you'd like. It's fine. The Canvas course is already set up. There's not much to see in it yet because again, I'm going to be finishing up this syllabus after I've talked to you and then posting other things in there starting next time. But anyway, the TI-83 or TI-83 calculator or TI-84 calculator is what's recommended for this course. If you don't have them, I would recommend getting the 84 calculator. Now, how it is expensive, however, it runs, I think the 84 calculator might run $125 or more, depending on whether there's a sale. Sometimes there's sales at the beginning of semesters at places like Target and Walmart. But they can get quite expensive. So it is recommended. And if you were taking this as an in-person class, and all the exams would be strictly using this calculator for your calculations. Since we're doing this through Zoom, then there's going to be a more opportunity to use other resources. But I would recommend this because it's sort of required for the course to have that graphing calculator. Now, if you have any other type of graphing calculator, such as the TI Nspire or the TI-89, I don't think many people use the 89 anymore. You can use them, but I won't provide any support in class. What I will provide support for is the 83, 84 calculator. 83 is very similar to the 84, except it's a little older. It's an older model. And there's a couple functions that are not on there that are on the 84 that we use, but because of this additional software that I'm going to provide to you or ask you to put on your computer, it won't be an issue because you'll be able to do many of the things that the calculator does, you'll be able to do using the software. So it won't, it's not something you have to worry about. So if you already have a TI-83 calculator, don't worry about it. You can use it. If you have a TI-84, that's the better one. But if you have to purchase one, purchase the TI-84. Now, the textbook. The last time I taught this a year ago, we were using the 5th edition of this textbook called Introduction to Statistics and Data Analysis. And the publisher was not Cengage Learning, it was Wiley. So I believe it was Wiley. So they've changed publishers with this new 6th edition. The 6th edition is 2020, came out last year. And there's a new author in here too. Peck and Olson are the same authors as before. This guy Short is somebody new. They replaced somebody else with this person named Short. So this is the textbook that's used for the course. You can buy it from the bookstore. It costs $136.65. And I looked through it. I got a copy from the publisher for this course, and there's nothing. It's basically a bare bones textbook, I believe. You don't get anything with it. No software, nothing. So now there is an option where you can go, and I'll show you how to get onto Cengage in a few minutes. You can actually rent the ebook for 4 months for about half the price. So if this is not something you want to keep, you can do that. If you're comfortable reading a textbook as an ebook. Now, some people aren't. They'd rather have the physical book. So the brand new book is $136.65 from the bookstore, which you can order. I don't know if it's any cheaper going through Amazon or it's something like that, but again, you can get it more quickly from the bookstore. So there's an option there. Again, I'll show you. We'll go on to Cengage. I'll show you how to order it. Now, one of the things that I will ask you to do, if it's not too much trouble, and again, I tried it today, and it was very easy to do. To get what's called IBM SPSS Statistics, it's the version 27. This is a very expensive software program that the university has purchased, has a license for, and you can go to this link here, which I have in the on the syllabus here, or you can just simply type in software Rowan University and you'll get to that website. And you can, from that website, directly download the software. And it's a fully functioning software. It's used in social science, in all sorts of things. SPSS has been around for a long, long time, and it's IBM purchased it maybe about 20 years ago, and it's one of the best software packages out there. And for people who are in psychology and in the social sciences, it's used quite extensively. So this is something that I think you can learn to use. We're not going to use it, to the point of being advanced in any way, but you're not going to be programming with it, which is nice. You can basically point and click. But many of the things that we'll be doing in this class, you'll be able to do with the software as an alternative to using the calculator. So I will let you use the software for calculations, and it's a bonus because we're taking this as a remote course. So very easy to download, and there's a version for both the PC and also for the Mac. So if you have a Mac, it has a version for that also, and it's fully functional. So it's a great piece of software, and I will recommend that you all put it on there. I will do some problem solving throughout the semester using both the calculator and also the software. So I'll show you both ways of doing things. All right. So the TI 8384 calculator, show you that. I'll also show you using the SPSS. Now, if you don't have a computer, I hope you do, but if you don't, and you're using maybe the university's computer where it's safe, COVID safe to do that, then I believe, I'm not sure, but I hope SPSS is on those computers wherever they are. I know they have JMP, which is another statistical software, but this one I believe is used more extensively in business and education and so forth. So I believe that this is a good piece of software to get used to using. Now, for homework, this is where I think there has to be some discussion, because there is, I don't believe, I'm pretty sure that the textbook doesn't include any software, but online you could go to Cengage and get what's called WebAssign, which is a homework system. About a year and a half ago, Cengage purchased WebAssign, and then I used it, and it was a traumatic experience for my class. There's huge issues in downloading it and keeping it usable, and people were getting locked off, and all sorts of not so good things were happening with WebAssign. And it might have been strictly the fact that Cengage was integrating this software in their platform, and it didn't work very well. And I spent so many hours on the phone with them for all my students that it was just, I actually told them at one point, I will never use your software again. And then when I heard that that this textbook was now published by Cengage, I was like, oh no, I might have to do WebAssign. So I'm still not comfortable with WebAssign. It was such a traumatic thing that it was, I wanted to stay away from it. So I have this alternative thing that would cost a little bit of money, but I used it actually a year ago when I taught this course in person, and it worked very well. It worked very well. Students actually commented that they liked the homework system, and that's kind of rare in statistics homework system for some people to like it. And this software system actually, this program is through Pearson. Pearson's, of course, another publisher other than Cengage, a competitor. Now, this particular program was developed by what's called the Dana Center at the University of Texas. They created this program, this learning program for people who struggle with math and statistics. And I found that people really like this. Now, I still have access to it. However, I checked, and it seems like the University of Texas is no longer going to support this past this semester. I think in August it's going to retire this, and Pearson's also going to retire this program. So I can use it for one more semester this semester, and I'd like to use it, but the cost, if you were going to do this, the cost would be $104.99. I believe it's still the same thing. You would purchase now. You would not need to get one of these cards, purchase a card from Pearson. You could do it directly online. If you've never worked with Pearson before, I'll show you. Again, one of the things I'll show you today. You can register online, and then there will be a course ID, and then you'll get an access ID code also. But both those things together will allow you to register for this course, for that homework system, which is really just a course. And but it's very well done, and I'll explain it to you later if we all agree to do it. Now, it does, again, cost $104.99. So this is an additional cost. And again, some of you may not be in a position to pay all of that. So because you may not have a calculator, you have to get the textbook. Again, the textbook has an option where you can get it for like $69 or something like that. I have to check when I take you to that site. You can buy it on as an ebook and it's 4-month rental. So you're not really buying it; you're renting the ebook for 4 months, which covers the entire course, of course. So it would be, yeah, I think it would take us right through the end of February, March, April, May, through the end of May, which is fine because the course ends at the beginning of May. All right, so there's 36 of you, but you can unmute yourself if you'd like and give your opinion about this cost here, whether it's something that, because I'm not familiar with your financial aid and what you can afford, all of that. So I'm open to comments from you regarding this, because if there's many of you who feel like this is unaffordable, then we will not do it. And I will figure out some way of providing you with some sort of maybe quizzes or homework through Canvas that will replace the homework system that's here. My feeling is that it was successful last time. The students thought it was good. It supported their understanding, because statistics, for some can be a little challenging. So I'm open now for suggestions, or comments. So if some of you want to unmute and let me know how you feel, maybe introduce yourself and tell me how you feel about the cost. So this is not if I don't hear from anyone, I'll assume it's not a problem. Not an issue. All right. So please speak if this could be an issue. All right. Is there anyone here who does not have access to TI-83 or TI-84 calculator? You can speak up if you don't have access.
I don't have a calculator just yet.
Okay. Now, as far as buying it, is that going to be an issue? As Adriani, I guess, Adriani?
It's Adriani.
Adriani, I'm sorry, yes.
It could be an issue. I do get financial aid, but I don't know if it'll be an issue just yet. They haven't said anything just yet.
Okay. And the affordability for this Pearson's MyStatLab that I was just talking about, $104, would that be covered by your financial aid? Should be all right.
If my financial aid does go through this semester, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Like I said, they haven't said anything just yet. So.
All right. All right. Because this, I guess this course, if you add up all the costs, obviously you can purchase the textbook as an ebook. I mean, rent it as an ebook for about half the price of the cost through the bookstore. So you could save some money there. The IBM SPSS is completely free. As I mentioned before, let me see, it's right here. So it's fully functioning and it's a license. You could just go to the website and download it onto your computer. So that's great. To me, that's a great thing to have that where you can learn something like that. Obviously, in the future, if you ever use statistics in whatever you're studying, for example, you might have to do a research study. Maybe you're going to get a master's degree in education and psychology, whatever it might be, or even a PhD. But let's say master's degree, you're going to have to probably use statistical software. And if you know how to use this, it's a plus because then, because SPSS is used in many different universities. It's available and it's usually free if the university has a license. So that's why I picked that as opposed to JMP, because even though that is available at universities, I don't see many departments using it for research. They don't usually use that for research. SPSS is used quite often for that. There's others also, SAS, and there's others that are out there, but SPSS is widely used. It's one of the most widely used software programs in the social sciences, and it's free for download. And again, if you have a Mac, which many students do because they prefer Macs, there's a option to pick the Mac also. All right. So Adriana, besides Adriana, anybody else who would like to speak up and offer your opinion or concerns about the costs?
Hi, it's Dante.
Hi,
I had a
Dante.
question. Well, if we didn't get the My Stat Lab, what would be the alternative?
Well, it would have to be a group decision, because if we did it, then everybody would do it. If there's if there's several people who don't do it, I would have to probably just not do it and just offer an alternative, which would be doing something through Canvas. It would not be as good, I could tell you, because there's very few things out there right now which are free. There's some apps and so forth, but there's nothing really comprehensive that's free and could be used. And so the alternative would be I would probably maybe assign some homework and somehow allow you guys to put your answers into Canvas and do the answers through that, and allow the Canvas to grade it. It's not the best way of doing it. I can tell you because things are just not that well developed with Canvas for that. I do know there's other homework systems that for calculus and so forth that are more well developed. Even the math department at Rowan has that, but they haven't developed. There hasn't been anything developed for statistics that I found that's really good, except for this. This one I think is very good for students who struggle with math in general. That's why they developed it. But they seem to be moving away from it because maybe they're not making enough money, and they're dealing strictly with high school math programs now as opposed to college. So they're moving away from this, it seems, and University of Texas. So Pearson's going to be retiring this next semester, but it is still available. And the cost, again, is a little steep. Apparently, if you're a Texas resident, which none of you are, it's half the price, which would have been better. But they charge a little bit more if you're not a Texas resident.
Professor, you were talking about other alternatives that were free as well, not just Canvas, but other alternatives that were free. What were those alternatives be?
Oh, you mean besides the IBM statistics program, besides the SPSS? There's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are ebooks out there, but that are free. They're PDFs. I can probably find some, but and to be honest with you, there are tons of YouTube videos on statistics that show you step by step how to do many of these things. There's something called Khan Academy that has many of these videos sort of collected. But if you did a search for a particular topic that we're covering. Maybe it seems confusing to you when I go through it, and you would like to see YouTube. There's the topics that we cover in this course. There are lots of YouTube videos, and you just find the one that the person makes sense to you. So those are free. That might be the best way of doing it. The textbook, it's a textbook. So is it a great textbook? It's not great in terms of ease of, it's not written for, how should I say, it's not written for clarity. It's a good textbook. It describes things well, but it describes things in a complicated way. If you get the drift, it's not great for many students. It's not great for many students. So you may read the textbook and still have trouble. And so YouTube videos would be great. And there are other PDFs out there, but I'm not really keen on recommending PDFs because they may be sort of like people stealing, copying things that that are copyrighted, and I don't want to be doing that. That's kind of illegal. So, but I'm trying to get you the best combination of technology that will help you do well in this course. That's my goal, and I do think this Pearson's course is good. So if you do have enough financial aid to pay for it, I would recommend getting it. So, but if yeah, go ahead.
I'd just rather not pay the 105, to be honest with you. It's not like an issue. It's just I just would rather not pay that. But I mean, if I have to, well, I guess I'll have to.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's actually, to me, you have to buy the textbook. Unfortunately, that's part of the course. They don't. The math department and probably other departments too, that Rowan, they don't say, hey, you have an option of getting it. If you don't like, as a professor, you don't like the textbook, you can use something else. No, they don't give us that option. So, but I can tell you that this Pearson's software is, to me, for many students, worth more than reading the textbook. That's my opinion on it. So, although you do need to get a textbook, and that this MyStatLab is very well done. It's a good one, and that's why I put it on here, because I do think, and again, I got comments last time I taught this course when I did offer this, that many students liked it, and they felt it helped them understand material better. So that's why I'm offering it. Okay, so Lewis, right? Is Lewis I'm talking to?
Yes.
Yes. So how do you feel about that, Lewis? Are you okay with that? Because is it a cost issue, or is it just that because this will help if I again, depending on whether I don't know you in particular, but if you feel like you struggle with math, maybe you don't. Maybe math is easy for you. But if this program is set up for people who have maybe some issues with math over the years, and that's why when I went through it, it seemed to work very well. There's another course that the math department offers. It's called quantitative reasoning, and they use. Yeah, you've taken that course, Adriana. You took that course.
I've taken the course. I did have access to MyMathLab. I was gonna ask if I had access to MyMathLab, do I still have access to MyStatLab?
I believe that you can use the same sign-on information.
Okay.
I believe you can. You could try it, and you should be able to sign in, and then you would just register for a different course. That's all. It would be.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'd still have to go through the process of getting a new access code and use the course ID that I would give you for that.
Okay.
But tell Lewis a little bit about your experience with it's a data center course, right? It's the same idea.
Yeah.
How did you feel about
it was
that?
from the data center.
Yeah,
It was okay. I liked it. It was pretty cool. It had everything like laid out pretty clear, and like all the assignments and due dates were like listed properly. It was just, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy the website, honestly.
oh, you didn't like it? Oh,
Not
you
really.
didn't like the Pearson website, okay. Okay. Did you find the homework helpful, or was the material, the PDF that they give you, was the PDF better than the homework?
No, I do think that the website, like, they do offer chances to like clarify if you need any help with any homework, but I feel like with the clarification, it doesn't go towards the homework. So if you get like a problem that you need help with, it'll give you the help, but you'll still have to do another problem that you don't get help. I don't know how to explain it, honestly.
Yeah,
But
they
like
give
if
you an
you
al-
do,
they
Direct.
give you an alternative, They give you an
Yeah,
additional
so
one
you do
similar
the
to, yeah.
problem that you need help with, you'll still get that problem done, but they'll give you another problem that kind of goes with the same lesson, sort of.
Correct, correct. So that's a strength of it, I think, personally. Maybe you didn't like it, but I thought it was a strength of the homework system, is that it does, you know, and the way let me just explain how this homework system works. It has 3 parts to it. So for each topic, it has a preview thing that you go through with some homework. And then you do that before the lesson. And then you have, on the day of the lesson, you have that homework to do, right? And then after the lesson, you have you have 3 sections like that, post homework. So they're not long, but and so you get 3 chances there. The first chance, you don't know much about it. And then second one, well, you learn a little bit more about it. And then the third one, you should know enough about it to do better than you did before. So each topic is like that. It really reinforces the concepts, I think, personally. And I haven't seen a homework system like that. I think they did a great job, or as good a job as you could possibly have in a topic like this. Now, statistics is a little more complicated than what you saw in quantitative reasoning. So it's a little more complicated, but it's the same idea. So Louis, how do you feel about it now when you heard about it? Or is it something you still don't want to do?
I mean, from hearing from her perspective, I guess it's worth it, but at the end, I guess it still has to come down to like me doing the problem myself, because she said like it gives you a problem, but then it doesn't like actually help you with that direct
Oh,
problem. So
No,
it's
you
like,
get it. You do get, when you go through it, you do get information.
yeah, I'm not saying
It
like I'm not
doesn't
gonna
give,
get anything
so
out
it
of it.
doesn't just throw a problem out there and say, hey, do it. They do
Yeah.
give you some knowledge, and then you try it on your own. And then, so there's like 3, it's like a building process. And the whole idea is, by the time we've covered it in class, and then you try it again, you should have mastered it a little more strongly. Now, if I teach this without a homework system, there's going to be some of you who are going to do well. I can tell you, my experience with this course, 10% of the students, I don't care what I throw out there, it doesn't even matter, because they follow everything, they do well on all the tests, and they're going to get their A's. It's just doesn't matter. The other, there's about, I would say, 40 to 60% who need some help, who need to go through it, need some help. And then there's probably another 20% who need a lot of help. All right, because they feel uncomfortable with math in general, and then dealing with statistics, even though the technology is there, they still find themselves struggling. So that's sort of like the breakdown. I'm just offering this particular homework system probably for the people in the middle, towards the people who are really struggling. People who do well in math and this course is going to be a snap for many of you. So again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do. But I'm offering this for the rest of you, for those of you who know already that this might be, you know, a little bit of a struggle. So that's why it's there. Anybody besides Lewis who also feels that the homework system, it doesn't make sense for them? Anybody else?
Yeah, I kind of agree with him too.
And who is this?
Dante.
Oh, Dante. You feel the same thing? Okay. How about anybody else besides, because there's 36 of you on, right? Or maybe 34, 35. Let me see, how many are here? I can't tell from this. But how about the rest of you? Or is there anybody else besides Lewis and Dante who are uncomfortable about having this homework system? Actually, there are 36 here, so all 36 of you are here today, which is nice. No? You're all good?
I kind of agree as well. I think it's a little pricey to spend like almost $350 on one class.
Yeah, and that's why I'm having this conversation with you, all right? Because for me to just require it, and then there's going to be some of you are just going to say, oh, geez, you know, and maybe you reach a point where you can't afford it, you know, and you're going to.
I know for me personally, I don't know about everyone else's circumstance, but I have a wife and a kid. So, I mean,
yeah,
$350 for one class, and then everyone here is probably taking a minimum of 4 classes. That's
all right.
It's just
all right. Well, that was one of the things I was wanting to hear is you don't have to divulge your personal things at all, but the fact that you did, Dwayne, tells me that this is important thing. All right. And again, during COVID times, people are struggling financially, especially at this time. I don't want to throw something additional onto you that will burden you. And I could just know that if I don't offer this, it would, I have to offer something as an alternative that probably will not be as good. That's all. Now, Adriani, if I offer just the PDF, which is free, you know, you can download the PDF, if you remember that from your course, but not have the homework part of it, would you think that would be useful?
I think so. Cause are you talking about like the PDF version of the text from the website?
The text part of it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful because like the text did give a lot of insight on how to do a lot of the problems and all that. I think the website definitely does give a lot more detail and like more help for the problems, but the PDF, it did give enough information that it was kind of understandable without like having the extra help.
Right. So I feel comfortable since they're going to be retiring this whole system. The PDF is, they didn't have anything that said download the PDF and you can't share it. Obviously they're okay with sharing the PDF. So that's free. And so I think what I'm going to do is not do the homework system, the $104, $105, and we'll just have that PDF available, and I'll work that into our lessons. Okay, we'll have that as part and as a supplemental understanding of some of these concepts, and I appreciate all of you who've given your opinion on this. So I'll remove that from the syllabus so that you don't have to worry about that. So here are the costs for the course, and then I need to of course go through, you know, what time. What is it, 1:45? I think I still have a half an hour left. So I do want to go through this and then modify it later and post it all. So obviously this section here on Pearson's going to be removed. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to add, instead, I'm going to put in there the PDF, which will be supplemental to our course. And obviously I will post that and you can download it and use it. The only thing I would ask you to do is not sell it. I'm not going to sell it because that would probably break some copyright rules for sure. But I will allow you to use that PDF since they're going to be retiring it. They're not going to be using it ever again. So I'm okay with that. So Here are the costs, the calculator. You don't have a calculator. How about Dwayne? Do you have a calculator, graphing calculator, or do you need to purchase that?
I need to get a graphing calculator. I just have like a basic one right now.
Yeah, you definitely need that because the what we're going to be covering with the calculator requires the graphing calculator. Don't and by the way, do not get Casio. All right, it's a little bit cheaper, but it's, to me, it's hard to understand how to use it, and I'm not going to support the Casio. So unfortunately, now the TI Texas Instruments may have a sale. When I purchased one of my Texas Instruments TI-84 a couple of years ago, Target had a sale, and I got one for, it was really on sale. It was $125 retail, and I got it for $89. So sometimes there are sales on these things. So you may want to check soon, like today, see if Target or Walmart or somebody's offering a sale on it. I would recommend getting a new one unless somebody in your family has one, as a high school student and willing to let you borrow one. That would be fine.
Excuse me, Professor. This
Yes.
is Emmanuel.
Hi.
I actually do have one. I just want to know if this is the right one.
Yes, that's it. That's the
Okay.
84. Yeah.
Yes.
Just from what I'm seeing there, it says 84 there, right? TI-84.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's different versions of TI-84. There's the Plus CE. There's the Plus C Silver Edition. All of them are fine. And what I'm going to be doing is Texas Instrument has a program which I purchased, which allows me to display the functionality of it on the computer. So you'll be able to see the steps, not just me telling you what the steps are, but you'll be able to see the steps.
Professor, I don't know if you had saw like the chats, but I had taken AP Stats in high school, and if we didn't have the calculator with us physically, we were able to use a website called Desmos, which is a graphing calculator online. Will we be
Desmos?
able to use that for
Yeah.
this class?
Yeah. So it's called Decimals?
Desmos, DESMOS.com.
Desmos. Okay. Let me take a look at it, and I'll let you know. But yeah, the
Okay.
fact that this is a remote class, I'm going to give you opportunities to use technology, all right, other than the graphing calculator. So if it looks like it, and does it work where you can do many of the same features as the TI-84?
It's been a while since I've been in high school, but for the most part, it did let us do a lot of the graphing, and it did give us the chance to like do. I know there were some graphs that like they kind of go like a curve, like up and down. It did let us do graphing like that, and all the other ones too. I think there were videos that showed us how to do all that for the calculator on there.
It would only work if it does statistical functions.
Okay.
We're not going to be doing other types of graphing. We're only going to be doing, and not on the 84, they have, on the 83 and 84, they have what are called stat plots. So that's what we will be doing. So let me take a look at it, see if it's useful. If it's, and I'll let everybody know next time
Okay.
whether it's useful or not. But I do recommend the 83, 84. The 83 is cheaper. And by the way, if you want to get the 83 because it's maybe $25 to $30 or $40 cheaper than the 84, get the 83. Even though it doesn't have everything that there's a couple things that are missing on the 83, and it's okay because I'll show you an alternative with the software. The software that we're going to be using will fill in any gaps that are missing. So actually, if cost is an issue and the 83 is a lot cheaper, for example, it might be $89 or $90 as opposed to $125, and get the 83. Please don't get any other type. The 83 or the 84 are the only types that I would recommend. All right. But if the cost is an issue, get the 83, and then you'll be fine for 95% of the material, and the rest of it, I will give you an alternative to do. All right. And it'll because we're using software. This SPSS is free. And it'll do many of the things that the calculator will do also. So it will fill in any gaps. But the math department wants us to use the graphing calculator. So unfortunately, I think I need to use it. I can check with the math department. So if you don't have one, don't buy it yet, but wait till the next class and I'll let you know. I'll check with the math department to see if it's absolutely required. All right. But again, that the textbook, either the ebook or the regular textbook, or and then the other cost would be the calculator, and that would be it. All right. So for all of you for the cost, is that okay? Would that work? That would be better. Dwayne, how about you? Would that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right, good. So I think we get 100% approval for all of that. We're good. Lewis, you're good with that too?
Hi.
Good.
What are we buying again? What were the things that we were buying?
Well, the textbook. Now you can either buy it through the bookstore, and the cost of it is $136.65, which is showing on the screen here. Or you can go directly onto the Cengage website. I'll show you how to get there. And you can rent 4 months of that ebook. And what you're really buying is what's called Cengage Unlimited. And if you have other courses that use Cengage, you can use it for that also. You can get and the ebook is free. It's just you're buying this Cengage Unlimited thing, and then you can get as many textbooks as you want. If you have other, it'll be worth your while if you have another course that requires Cengage textbook.
Okay.
Also, you may be able to get more than one textbook under that agreement. But basically, you're getting you're renting this license for 4 months, and then you can get your ebook through that process. All right, and I'll show you again how to do that.
All right. Thank you.
But if you want the physical text, I know some people don't like ebooks. They don't want to read. They want the physical textbook. You can get it from the bookstore, $136.65. That's the cost. Or if you it's a brand new textbook, so you may not see many used textbooks for that. Yeah. All right. All right. So anyway, let's move beyond all of that. Course objectives. You're going to learn basic statistical terminology, knowledge of basic concepts in data description, descriptive statistics. You're going to be learning probability. Not extensively. We're going to be spending not a whole lot of time on probability, maybe about a week or two, a week and a half on probability and the associated topics related to it. But it's not, probability could be an entire semester course. So it's not going to be like that, but you're going to need to know some basic ideas on how to use it. So again, for some, no problem. It'll be easy for you. And for some of you, you may find it a little challenging, but again, there will be opportunities. There'll be YouTube videos out there that show you how to do things, and there's plenty of them. Students will be exposed to the importance of basic assumptions, allowing all statistical calculations. And then towards the end of the course, we have what's called inference. This is the topic that really separates statistics from data analysis. Statistics as a course uses something called inference, which says, take a sample of information and generalize it to the entire population. Okay, just like a political poll. You may ask 1,000 people, which political candidate do you prefer? And then you can then infer or generalize, which means about that, the whole population. So we're going to talk about that, how that works. And there will be some tools that you'll learn how to do with that. Very basic ones, very beginning level ones. But again, if you're haven't covered this before, it's a little challenging. It can be challenging, but that's part of being in a math course. It's going to be a little bit challenging, but this course is not horrible in terms of challenge. Okay, I taught students at Camden County College also, and I had several students who never got an A in math in their entire life and got an A in this type of course. So if you work hard, you can do well in this course. This is a Rowan Core course, which means what? It means that there are certain topics that have to be covered. And there has to be a final exam. And there has to be two parts of the final exam, the core part, which is written by the math department, and the part that the professor writes. All right, so it's a 2-hour exam. Part 1 takes an hour and part 2 takes an hour. And it's during the final exams week, which, by the way, I believe the exam's probably going to be on May 3rd, my guess, because it's early enough in the day, typically for Mondays and Wednesdays, for it to be the Monday final exam, which would be May the 3rd. So that's my guess when it's going to be, the exam's going to be. The exact time, I'm not sure, but probably 12:30 to 2:30, something like that. We'll see. We'll see exactly what time they give us later. Do expect you to attend the Zoom sessions, but for some reason there's an emergency or something. I will record sessions just like I'm doing today, and you'll be able to go, and I'll post it by the end of the day. It does take a couple of hours before it translates and for me to actually post it. Now, the way I do it, which makes it easy for you to see it, is I do, once I get the recording done, I actually post it in YouTube. It creates a YouTube video out there. And then the link to the YouTube video I put into Canvas. And so you get immediate access to it. There shouldn't be any issues for accessing it. All right. But it's out there also in YouTube. So many of your bright faces might show up there. I do get an occasional person who's kind of a geeky person who likes statistics, who tell me how good they like the YouTube sessions. So I do get people who comment, they do like it. So, but anyway, now weekly homework. How are you going to do that? I will figure it out. I'll figure out how to do it. I may even have it as a quiz as opposed to homework. I'll call it a quiz instead of a homework. All right, it's the same idea, is that it's there to test your knowledge and the ability to do the assignments that I give to you. And so it'll be posted. Those will be posted in Canvas, and probably I'll allow you to do those on your own, but there'll be due dates on those. Okay, so I'll talk more about that later when I develop those assignments. There will be 3 exams during the semester. I will show you the schedule in a minute of what the semester is going to look like. And then there will be, of course, that cumulative final exam. And it is cumulative, by the way. It has to be. All right, I have no choice about that for this course. It has to cover all the required topics for the semester. The exams have to be taken during our scheduled Zoom session. So you'll be taking it. You'll sign in just like you did today. You'll take the exam in Canvas at that time. And now, if any of you have accommodations through the special needs department at Rowan, please have that provided to me, either by you or by the special needs department. So that might be some variability in terms of, the exams and so forth. So please, if you do have that, I do need to know that before we have our exams and quizzes. The exams, just to make it comfortable for you, the exams are open book and open notes, but I do not want you to be working with other people. As I say here, I can detect cheating very easily, and it's true. It's easy to figure it out. So please don't cheat. There's no reason to cheat when the exams are open book and open notes. However, there's a little danger in having an open book and open notes for you, because you may think, oh, I just can look it up. I don't need to study. No, you don't want to do that. Bad idea, right? You already know that probably, because you'll be spending so much time looking up things that you'll not finish the exam. So please be prepared. Just have, maybe having a physical textbook is a good idea, because then you can have like Post-it notes or something, and just have everywhere, to tag so you know where to go, all right, for the exam. If for some reason there's an emergency, illness or some other emergency, and you just can't make it that day, you need to let me know ahead of time by email. All right, please do that. If you just don't show up, that's a bad thing. That's not good. So treat it like you treat your job. If you're working right now and you're working remotely, you do have to sign, let people know that you're in, right? So you do the same thing here. If for some reason you can't make it, if there's a good reason, then of course you'll be allowed to take it at another time, but you certainly can't just like blow it off. That's not good. The final exam, however, has to be done on that day. And for some reason, if you know ahead of time you can't make it, you need to do it earlier, not later. All right? You can't take the final exam at a later time. If, however, there's a COVID-related problem, some emergency, then the Rowan University could give me some permission to do some sort of medical incomplete. And then you could do it at a later time. All right? But you would have to be passing the course for that to happen. All right? If you're failing the course, that's not going to happen. Right? So don't think that because you're failing, you can just delay the inevitable. You don't want to do that. All right? And by the way, my courses, if you fail, it's because you're not doing any work. All right? I very rarely find somebody who fails who works really hard. Typically, everybody passes, and you'll see in a minute why. Things about academic integrity, of course, no cheating, especially with us doing it remotely. Tutoring, because of the pandemic, there might be a different format for tutoring. I don't know if they'll have it in person. They might have it via Zoom or some other way of doing it. All right. Now, grading. Now, this may change because of the fact that we're not doing the homework system. So I may lower the homework amount here and add it to the test. So for example, I might lower this to 15% and make this 60% for tests. But this is sort of the breakdown. Final exam has to be fairly strongly weighted, so it's 25% for the final. But again, I don't think the final is that difficult. If you're keeping track, last semester I was teaching statistical literacy. There's a couple people got almost perfect scores, so you can do very well on the final. And I know the core piece is not that hard. Here is the breakdown. Now, I do something differently than other professors because I would say my exams are, they're not easy, but they're not horribly difficult. They're sort of in the middle somewhere. Because of that, I want you to feel comfortable taking them. So here are the breakdowns. Number one, my exams, I have to say this, my exams are 110 points each. All right, and I give everybody that extra 10 points. So if you get a 90 out of 110, it's a 90. All right, I don't count it as a percentage, I count it as a 90. So when I say 90 and above, I mean up to 110. So if you get 110, you got 110. So 90 and above is an A, and then everything else is just 4 points lower. So you can see an A minus is 86. So you can get an A minus and get 24 points off of your test, okay? So no, I don't think other professors do this, I do it. Now, other professors may make an exam ridiculously easy, but, and when I mean ridiculously easy, they make it so they're not really testing anything. So fine, they can do that, but I want you to learn something in this course. I want to see if you've learned it. So I make the grading here easier so that you don't feel as much stress about it. So you can see B plus is 82, B is 78, B minus 74. So 74 out of 110 is a B minus. All right. So you can see you can get a C with a 66. You know, in other courses, 66 is a D. It's not a C. So these grades are about, except for the A maybe, are about 5 to 10 points higher than they would be given whatever grade you get. And remember, it's out of 110 also. So it's a big this is where I give you the opportunity to do well, right here. And I found this works well, both at Rowan, and it works well when I teach at Camden County College too, for both schools. It seems to work very well, and that's why I go with it. So as you can see, failing below a 50, that's out of 110. Now, in other courses, a 60 out of 100 is below a 60 out of 100 is a fail. So I'm giving you that extra credit. I'm building it into the platform for grading, so that the only reason you're going to fail this course is because you're not doing the work, really. And those of you who struggle, you'll be surprised. If you work hard, many of you will get, I mean, there could be a couple of you get A's. I mean, it's possible. You could get B's for sure. So this is built into this. And I think, again, the way I teach the course and all, it should be good. You should be good with this. All right. Last semester, I had pretty good reviews from students who liked the way I set up the grading. All right. And I'm going to have to modify this. There's no in-class part of this, so I'll change that also. So basically, starting on, see, we have about 7 minutes. I'll go through the schedule very quickly. Starting on Wednesday, we're going to be covering chapter 1, which is just a basic introduction with basic concepts and some very, very elementary graphs. All right, so very easy start. I know some of you are still going to be getting things, and so it'll be a very easy start, very easy to catch up with this chapter 1. Next week, it's chapter 2, where we go through the types of additional basic concepts, like the type of studies that statistics are used for, such as observational studies versus experiments. You'll learn some more of the vocabulary. By the way, you should know vocabulary for this course. Sometimes I will ask questions on your exams, testing your knowledge of vocabulary. Now, of course, the vocabulary is in your textbook, but and you should learn how to use a textbook too. There's a table of contents at the beginning. There's an index at the end. You should be able to learn how to use a textbook. Sampling, always questions about sampling. Final exam too. Questions about sampling, the types of ways that researchers sample, getting people to, maybe again, for a political poll, how do you find people? Use random sampling, you learn a little bit about that. Then the week after, we get into graphing, the different types of charts. These aren't going to be, large number of different types of charts, but just the more important ones. Bar charts, pie charts, stem and leaf. You probably never heard of that, but it's a simple type of graph. And then I have a whole session on frequency distributions, because these are the types of tables that you will see later on in your career, wherever you're going to be going. If you're going to be using any type of statistics, you'll see frequency distribution tables and histograms. Very well-known type of graph. Then the week after that, we go into what are called descriptive statistics, the mean, the mode, standard deviation. That's what are the measures of central tendency and variability. Then we talk about box plots and things like that. That's measures of position. We'll get into that. Interpreting the center and variability. We'll talk about different tools for that. And then the week after that, we're going to finish up with what's called correlation and linear regression. By the way, the way this is taught in this course is not much different than the way it's taught in Algebra 2 in high school now, the second year of algebra. They teach this concept, and it's taught exactly the same way, using a graphing calculator. So that's only one session is needed for that. And then we have a review for test 1, and then we have let's see, here we go. Test number 1, just so that you know, is scheduled for March the 1st, covering the first 5 chapters. People find that the easiest of the 3 tests. Then right after that, we get into probability. So you can see here, there are two sessions for probability. It's chapter 6. Then chapter 7, we get into what's called probability distributions. So we get into things like the binomial, and that would be March the 15th here, and the normal, that's the bell-shaped curve. We're going to spend a few sessions on that, about a week and a half on that. And then we have, I always have a session for a review. We have a review, and then test number 2, covering chapters 6 and 7, will be on March 31st. That's again on a Wednesday. And then we get into the inference part of the course, a little more challenging than the us, but it's on an elementary level, so nothing really advanced here, but again, the concepts are going to be new, even if you took statistics in high school. So this is chapters 8, 9, and 10. And the textbook that we have actually has been developed so that there is an additional thing that helps you understand these concepts called simulation. We're going to be using actually, I don't have it here, but I'm going to actually type it into the syllabus. We're going to be using a free, here's something else that's free, a free statistical program called StatKey, which will allow you to practice and understand some of these concepts that we're going to be learning in this inference section, such as estimating population means and proportions and things like that through what's called confidence intervals. Then we're going to get into what's called hypothesis tests. StatKey is very good at helping you understand that. So we're going to actually use that and I'll build it into my course. So all these different things that it will be doing, I'll mix it up a bit so that you'll have different things that we can use. I'm also, of course, going to build in the SPSS. So you need to download that. That's something you could do right away, by the way. And let me show you very quickly. Share the screen here. Let's see if I can find the SPSS. Oops, I won't show you all that. Let's see. Hold on one second. See if I can highlight. Let's see. Maybe I'll show you that next time. So why don't you just order everything? SPSS could be downloaded at any time. So let me show you that next time, just quickly before we get into the introduction. I'll show you that website because it's just about over. So let me look at the chats here, see if there's anything. Okay. Jacob says won't be able to use it during tests. Jacob, can you tell me what you mean by, what are you referring to?
Oh, no, I just thought that when we were taking tests, we wouldn't be allowed to switch over, but if you allow it, then it's fine.
Switch over the what?
To the Desmos. It's like on a computer or an app or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me look at it first before I make a decision on it. All right. I'm not going to authorize something before I actually see it. All right. So let me take a quick look at that. And then I'll get back to you on that on Wednesday also. So what is your goal right now? I'm going to fix this syllabus, get that posted right away. And then I'll start building up Canvas so that I'll probably post the PowerPoint for Wednesday session. I'll have that posted also before Wednesday. But I'll get that syllabus done today and post it so that you see what you need to do. But definitely get the textbook in one form or the other. If you're not sure how to do it online, what you do basically is go to cengage.com and then there is a link there for students. But maybe I'll show it to you next time. I'll show that to you next time. So if you think you're going to do the ebook, because you can get that right away, I'll show that to you also next time briefly. If you're going to get the textbook from the bookstore, go ahead and do that. Order that right away. And then get that calculator. Remember, TI-8384 calculator is the only calculator that I will support in class for demonstrations. So don't get any other type of calculator. If you do, then you're on your own for that, for the support for that. All right, any questions? Are we good? All right, so good. So get started, and the first week, again, it'll be just baby steps, all right? Take you through baby steps. Just get the stuff, don't worry. Again, I'm experienced, I know what I'm doing. I'll get you through this course step by step, and just keep at it, okay? And that's it for today. So I'll stop the recording, and I'll see you guys next time, all right? Same time? You'll get it. And one other thing I wanted to ask you before you go. Would you prefer a link each time? I think it might be better, right? To get a link each time for getting to the Zoom session instead of one for the whole semester. You may end up losing it. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do a separate link each time we have a session. All right, so just look out for that.
Thank
All right,
you.
so yeah.